Forest Haven was a live-in facility for children and adults with intellectual disability located in Laurel, Maryland. The site was opened in 1925 and closed on October 14, 1991, by order of a federal judge after years of alleged abuse, medical incompetence, and several deaths from aspiration pneumonia. Forest Haven opened in 1925 as a farm-like institution geared towards educating its patients with useful life skills. It encompassed nearly 300 acres and contained 22 separate buildings, and at its height housed well over 1,000 patients. Its decline began in the 1960s as funding was cut and the population grew to include persons with non-ID conditions such as epilepsy. In 1974, Forest Haven received at least 20 individuals from a nearby. By the 1960s, funding for the sprawling institution began to dry up and devastating cutbacks began to afflict the asylum. Recreational programs were discontinued, and the staff was reduced and replaced with unqualified employees. As the years rolled by, things got progressively worse as the doctors, nurse, and caregivers began taking out their frustrations on the patients, many of whom were abused bodily and sexually, if they were given any attention at all. Eventually, patients began dying of neglect and related causes. The dead would be passed through the basement morgue and eventually buried in an unmarked field nearby. Hundreds of inmates died, and according to one report, some were even the subject of medical experiments before the entire institution was shuttered in 1991. Today, the buildings of Forest Haven Asylum are still standing, bearing the peeling paint, rot, and graffiti of time. A single headstone has been erected in the burial field to honor the hundreds of inmates who were anonymously put to an unceremonious rest. As if the decaying remains of this horrific asylum did not give the site a haunting air, there have also been reports of the shallow graves of the carelessly buried inmates eroding to reveal the unfortunate corpses.